Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 288-89. Barry and Matt with you in the studio this day, Wednesday, the 29th of September, and my word, September has gone like the. And today we're going to be talking about committing ourselves to appointments and how to make appointments the right way. I hadn't brought you viewers up to speed with that for a while, so I thought we might kick off today's show with that. And just before we get on to today's show, we may have to cut the show short today because we are one body down as usual, but we mustn't go stomp, 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 stomp like I've been telling you on the show. And joining me now in the studio for episode 288-89, here's Matt Brown. Good morning to you. The rain is on the way.
Morning, Barry. Thanks for having me back, my friends. Yes, it looks like could be a little bit of a wet one this afternoon, Baz, but one good thing, it's fairly warm out there this morning. So, we talk about the positives and negatives with things. Well, the positive is it's quite warm out there. Negative, it might rain, but that's also a plus too, because the gardens will be thanking the rains for it. So, all good, mate.
Okay, well, to open the show, let's talk about making the an appointment the right way. Okay, don't assume that the person's going to be available on that day. It's like with your doctor, unless you see someone else. Here's Matt now to open episode 288 and 89 with that.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, appointments. So first of all, obviously you're ringing up to make an appointment with something, whether it be a job, a doctor, an adjustment for a wheelchair, whatever. The choice is yours to pick to ring up and see if they have, number one, a time available and a date available, because just because you might want it on a particular day and time doesn't mean that you'll be able to do that. So you also have to be flexible with these appointment times too, Barry.
So make sure that you have transport to get to and from your appointment. Here's Matt now for his opening sequence on this.
That's true, Barry. So once you've all booked in your times and your dates, the transport, you need to figure out how long it's going to take you to get there. Do you have to park when you get there in the parking station or park on the street? Are you leaving in peak times? There's quite a little bit of organisation to go into to make sure this appointment runs smoothly.
Okay, because don't just ring up and say, can I book in to have my wheelchair fixed? That is not the way to book an appointment or make an appointment or ring up your medical center, because the doctor that you usually see, or your OT, or your eye surgeon, or nose and throat, they might not be there on the day that you make the appointment. Here's Matt now for this.
That's true, Barry. That just because you ring up and book an appointment, a lot of these appointments that you're booking are quite a few weeks or sometimes months even in advance, Barry. So yes, always double check, find out if your doctor or whoever you're making the appointment with is actually available on that day. And one good thing these days, Barry, is with the mobile phone, you'll get a text usually the day before just confirming that your appointment is still on or not.
So, if you are unable to stick to the appointment, guys, Don't just not turn up. Let them know. Here's Matt now for this.
It's a really good point, Barry, because you're wasting that person's time. So if you fall sick or whatever, or you're too lazy or something happens, please let that person know, because their time is valuable just like yours is. And importantly, you could have someone like Barry who's waiting for an appointment but can't get in because people are cancelling. So, yes, please think of others.
So don't just not turn up and have a BS excuse for not turning up. Here's Matt now for this.
That's right. You know, if you've got an excuse, ring up and let the person know as soon as you do. That's just called common courtesy. And I'm sure that they'll be able to fit you in at another available appointment, because you'll rung up and let them know as soon as you found out.
So don't just not turn up. Because if Matt didn't turn up and he didn't let me know, I would say, well, Matt, why didn't you turn up? What's your excuse? Here's an example.
Yes, so it could be either, if I didn't ring up, it could be either I'd been sick, could have been in a car accident, car broken down, or they sent me to another house, Barry. A few things just off the top of my head. Yes, I would like to, if I knew I wasn't going to be there, I would let the house know that I wouldn't be coming in, and that way it would be the least amount of disruption to Barry's days as can be.
So, say if I didn't turn up to an appointment, the person would be annoyed. Here's Matt now for this.
Yeah, because people book out time. So if it was for Barry, example 2 till 3, you want to make sure that, you know, if Barry just didn't turn up and we didn't know, and it's 3:10 and you're still waiting, that's time that's is vacated for the next person. And it's like a domino effect. So please let those people know.
Okay, and don't just assume that the van is going to be on base to get you to and from your appointment, because the van may be out on another job that day.
That's a good point, Barry. Yes, especially the van here. There is 2 vans, but I know that one's nearly always out, and we want to make sure that when we have an appointment, we have it booked in, and that way we know that we don't have to rush to find alternative modes of transport.
So if you know that you've got the appointment, okay, please commit to that, because if it's something for your wheelchair, then you must go to that, like I am today. And be prepared for the appointment, which is our next topic.
Good point, Barry. Yes, be prepared. You know, just because you've booked your appointment and you're all going to your appointment, it's all good. The doctor's waiting for you, or the specialist, or whoever it is. You make sure that you've got all the right paperwork, and you're bringing along what you need to the appointment to make it run smoothly.
Now, here's the next topic. It's also very important to have the right documents when you go to the appointment. Like, if you go to the doctor and he gives you the referral, you have to ring up that surgery or whatever, okay, and ask when there is a suitable day and time. Here's Matt now for this.
That's right, Barry. I know that I've booked a specialist appointment. I've waited, 6 months, sometimes close to a year, Barry, for those appointments. So, yes, it can be frustrating when the dates are being moved, but as we talk about on the show, such is life. You can't go stompity stomp, 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 stomp. Doesn't give me my appointment any quicker.
And like if you're sick the day before your appointment, okay, and you get taken to hospital and you can't ring up and reschedule it, get someone to do it for you. Here's Matt now.
That's right, Barry. If you're unable to make that call, I'm sure someone that's with you, or a friend, or family, or worker, or someone would be able to, be able to forward that information to the right person.
So what would you do, Matt? Say if I'm sitting here now.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, say for example, I've got a really bad pain in the stomach.
Yep.
And pain in the chest. We may have to cancel the appointment. How would you deal with it?
First of all, I'd get to the phone and ring up telehealth, and I'm lucky enough that you can talk to me, Barry. So we'd have someone on the phone, and we'd get assistance from a doctor and the helpline. While I was doing that, Barry would get in the touch with management and see how you go. See what the further directions from above are. Worst case scenario, Barry, if you weren't talking to me and you were non-responsive, good old 000, our big 3 donuts, Barry. They'll be here very quick.
So say for example, if I had really severe cramps and we were ready to go and I was going,
Number one, I'd ask you, so Barry, do you need to sit down in the toilet? Is there stomach cramps that you need to sit down? If you said no to me, then we'd ring up the health line, Barry, and see what we can do. If you're still responsive, you're still talking to me, and then I would, once I knew that you're okay, I would obviously then ring the appointment and let them know that either 1, we're not coming, or 2, we're running late.
So let's do a role play now.
Okay, Barry.
Hello, Matt.
G'day. Who's this?
It's Barry here.
G'day, Barry. How are you, bud?
I'm not feeling well today, mate.
Ah, Barry, that's a shame. Just one moment. Let me have a look at what time you're due. You're due in at 2:30 today, Barry. Do you think you'll be coming in?
No, mate.
No. Okay. No problem, Barry. Well, look, you figure out that number one is you get better, first of all. And if you could let our office know, Barry, when you'd next be available to come in, and we'll try and sneak you in there somewhere along the way, okay?
Okay, thanks, Matt.
No worries, Barry. Hope you feel better. Bye, mate.
Bye-bye. So that's one way of cancelling an appointment if you're sick. And especially with the doctors as well. They just not ring up and cancel the appointment because the attending doctor which you booked the appointment with, they could be waiting 25 minutes. Here's Matt now for this.
That's right, Barry. Usually when we go to the doctor's appointments, most of us would realise that when we book the time, we're never usually on time. Usually have to sit there and wait, and that's because either they're running late or someone could have been, like Barry said, they could have held up the line and then it dominoes down the line. And also, Barry, they could also charge you for it for not coming in because that's their time they've booked in. So it still costs you the same amount of money and nothing's been resolved.
So please, guys, commit to your appointment. Be respectful of others. Okay, because like we just demonstrated, if I was sick in the stomach or had severe pains in the chest prior to departing here, example, we would then let the manager know and get them to ring up and reschedule the appointment. Here's Matt now.
Exactly right, Barry. I mean, at the end of the day, the number one priority with any appointment is the actual client. If you're not fit and able enough, think you can't make it to that appointment, that's the number one priority. And then from there, we can always shift an appointment with the particular parties, Barry, to book in a new one. So that's the most important thing. Client first, appointment second.
Okay, make sure that you know that you ask the reception, is there accessible parking at the venue? Is there a ramp or lift to go into the doctor's office? Here's my offside.
That's exactly right. The old proper preparation, Barry, comes in, especially if you're wheelchair assisted. One good thing is usually there's a disabled parking or drop off spot close to the front door, Barry, which is very helpful for the disabled clients out there. And yeah, time wise, Barry, like to know how long you got to drive to get there, and being able to get home from the appointment.
And ask what the address is and the venue. Example, Royal North Shore Hospital. What floor is the doctor's surgery or the doctor's office on? Which level? Because hospitals are very big. Don't assume that your appointment's on level 1, when really it's on level 3. Here's Matt now.
Very true, Barry. I mean, one good thing is, thank goodness, a lot of these hospitals, like the Northern Beaches Hospital and the Royal North Shore these days, last 5-10 years, are modern. Whereas 10 years prior, Barry, that you're correct, it was going around trying to find where the actual particular office is in a hospital was like a rabbit's warren. It's hard to find. Go through this door, down, go and see that, turn left, do around, up and down. Yeah, I would agree with you, Barry. Do your homework first.
So don't just turn up to the hospital and think, oh, beep, I've come to the wrong beep place. Here's my offside.
That's right, in different buildings. The old Royal North Shore used to have a few different buildings, Barry, didn't it? Over there, and I'm sure many people turned up at the wrong building. Whereas at least today, it's most of the hospitals are fairly modern and have the right facilities there, Barry, which help make it a bit easier.
But be prepared for your appointment. You need to be hoisted out of your chair. Okay? Have you sleep. Here's my offside.
That's right, Barry. I mean, proper preparation, and we've done that with our appointment today. We'll go through our checklist again before we leave here, so that way we've got everything organised and ready to make it a nice, smooth transition.
And make sure that you know have everything with you, like your Medicare card, your referral, your pension card. Here's my offside.
That's right, and the good old credit card to pay for the bill too, Barry.
And the credit card.
They love hearing that, don't they? How are you going to pay for that, sir? So yes, make sure you've got all the right paperwork and forms, and all your driver's license and ID.
Okay, and make sure that when you attend your appointment, stick to the subject. Tell them why you are there. Don't make up BS stories and so absolute porcupines. Here's my offside.
Yes, because telling the old porcupines won't do you any good, because you could be misdiagnosed. So just stick to the relevant points, and yes, best of luck.
And don't argue with the staff there, okay? Because if you are in hospital, okay, like with me a couple of times, I've gone up in the ambulance. They assess you observe you for 4 hours, do some blood tests, CT scans, whatever. Is my offside.
That's right, Barry. I can't add to that one, but how's your experience been with appointments, Barry? Have you always made your appointments on time?
Yes. So, when I've been up in the hospital, okay, the staff observed me, did some CT scans of my tummy and all of that, and they told me that I had, uh, I'll leave that there.
Yep, that's good. Oh, good. But you've always prepared. You've had everything ready, made it nice and easy for them, Barry, so that way you can get the right attention and you don't waste their time and they don't waste yours. And that's the ultimate goal.
So, before you are discharged from the hospital, make sure that you have your discharge summary with you and follow up with your doctor. Make an appointment with him or her. He's my outsider.
That's right. If you know, make sure the follow through is looked after for your upcoming appointment after, because a lot of times after you do some surgery, they'll want a follow up appointment. And one good thing is, Barry, that usually can be done as you're leaving the hospital, and if not, the secretary usually sends you an email in the first 24 hours to let you know and let your staff look after it, which is good to make it a nice and easy transition. And that's what you want when you do an appointment.
So before the doctors will come and ask you how you are, if you've been admitted to a hospital like I had, okay? And if they say you are well enough to go home, please go home and don't argue the point. Make out that you're still sick. Here's Matt now for this.
Yes, that's an important one, guys. Just remember your manners. Someone's there to help you.
Well, we've opened the show with committing to appointments, and we're going to take a break now on the show, and we will get back to you as soon as possible, because again, we are one star short today, so we will get back to you as soon as we can. We apologize for the inconvenience, and please try to be patient. We will be back with you as soon as possible. The time is 18 minutes or 13 minutes after 10, is it?
13 minutes after 10.
It's 13 minutes after 10. It is Wednesday, the 29th of September. I'm Barry Beer with Matt Brown. Stay with us, and we will keep you in the picture. Don't go away. We will be back with you as soon as we can. Stay with us. Good morning, everybody, once again, and welcome back to episode 288-89. This is Barry Beer and Matt Brown here, nearly 20 to 11 here on Wednesday morning, and today we've been talking about committing to appointments and how important they are. And rejoining me now in the studio, it's good morning to Matt Brown. Welcome back to the show and to the studio.
Thanks for having me, Barry. Looking forward to our part 2 edition this morning. So, what have we got lined up for our viewers today, my friend?
Well, we've talked about committing to appointments, but let's talk about what can happen if you don't commit to your appointments.
Okay.
Now, you've made the appointment, you've said you're going to come to the party, but if you say to the person, oh, this appointment's not important, the person may not be impressed. Here's Matt now to open part 2 with that.
Yes, that's right. So yeah, once you commit to the appointment, guys, it's good manners first of all to go. Second is if you can't go, is to let them know, because there's no one should be left hanging, so to speak, because of you haven't informed anyone of why you won't be turning up to this particular appointment.
So it is very rude and off-putting to the person because they've waited an hour for you, say if it's 10 past 10 and you were supposed to turn up at 9:30 and you didn't, the person could ring up and say, where's he or she? Here's Matt now for this.
That's right, guys. Just be polite and let the person know when you could be coming, or if you're not even coming at all. Just let them know ASAP.
So don't just waste people's time, guys, because it is off-putting because, like, say, Matt and I could be out on a job, okay, and someone says, oh, I've got an appointment at midday, and then you suddenly think, oh, there's no van here. So you've got to be that's not how you organize an appointment or how to get there. Another thing, don't just ring up and say, "Oh, is my appointment in the appointment book?" When you haven't even made the appointment. Don't just go, "Ew," and then say, "Hello, I'm here to see such and such." But we will talk more about that shortly. But the most important thing, you don't just not commit to your appointment or don't be too lazy. Here's Matt now for this.
That's right. You give yourself enough time. You've spent all that time waiting for that particular appointment, booking it in, which is never easy. So if you take the time to plan and get there in time for the appointment.
Okay, because like don't just turn up and expect that someone is going to see you when they haven't even got you down. But again, we will cover that. But not committing to your appointment, that is very rude. Say if you had an appointment for your wheelchair, like I've got this afternoon. Now, if I pull it out, say 2.5 hours before I was due to see that person, no, they won't see me in the future. Here's Matt now.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate, Barry, if you couldn't make it there, hypothetically. But one good thing, Barry, you'd let them know that you couldn't make it, and one good thing is we'll be able to arrange another appointment, but it just means that you have to wait longer, which is not a result that you are looking for, my friend.
Okay, and another thing, don't just bombard the managers and say, have you made the appointment when you haven't even committed to the first appointment that they made for you? Here's Matt now.
Yeah, that's why we need to, communication. We need to talk. Viewers talk between each other, your managers or whoever's organising the appointment, and also with the doctor or whoever it is.
So don't just say, oh, but I booked this appointment ages ago when really you didn't. Here's Matt now.
Yeah, that's why ring up 24 hours before your appointment and see if it's still on. or thank goodness, as we talked about before, these days the doctors or whoever your appointments with, you get an email or a text message saying, please respond if you're coming to the appointment tomorrow, which is good. So that way it doesn't waste their time and it doesn't waste your time.
And don't just say to the driver that's driving your vehicle halfway up Warringah Road or the Pacific Highway at Southwood, say, I don't want to attend the appointment. 'Cause you could be halfway there. Here's that now.
Yes, it comes down to time. Everyone's time's important, so please think of others.
So don't let the person that is driving your minibus down or whoever, because the person may be waiting for you there. Here's my outsider.
Yes, that's it, Barry. You know, if you're not going to go, let people know as soon as possible. Don't leave it to the last minute because that stuffs everyone up.
Because if you say to the person, say, example, 20 past 12, I am not well enough. Give them enough time, say, if you say to the person at 9 o'clock, I've been up all night, really sick, I can't go to the appointment. Had a legitimate good reason. Here's my outsider.
Exactly right. If you're sick, you're sick. You know, these things happen. If you're pretending to be sick, well, please let the person know as soon as possible.
And don't muck around and waste time and effort and these. Here's Matt.
Yes, yeah, time. That's what we're getting to, Barry. Time. Don't waste time.
Okay, because the bus could be en route to another job. Like the bus is going on a job today with me. So I can't pull out of this one. This is important. Here's Matt now.
That's right, Barry. So we've got to make sure even the van's all ready to go.
And there's enough fuel in there.
Yes, that was an important point. That's make sure there's enough fuel in there, Barry. This happened to us last week. There wasn't enough fuel in the car, unfortunately. But it's all good. It's all topped up and filled it up, so it's all definitely ready to roll this week.
So please, don't just not turn up to your appointments, guys. Be considerate and thoughtful of others. Okay? Don't just think, the appointment's not important, because what if your chair suddenly goes bang, or or your seating's not right? Here's Matt now for this.
That's right, Barry. The dual wheelchair. We've been waiting for one for a while now, and we're going to get all sized up, and ready, and any luck, we're getting you some new sporty wheels.
So I've got a phone call to make during the break, and the 11 o'clock conference is coming up, so the time is 10 to 11. So the 11 o'clock conference is coming up, and then a quick episode 289, and then that's a wrap for today.
Perfect.
You're watching a Wednesday edition of the Daily Rush. We'll have more after the tea break and the news conference. Barry Bear and Matt Brown with you. It's 10 minutes to 11. Good morning and welcome to part 3 of our show today. And welcome to you, for those that have just tuned in to our Wednesday edition of the Daily Wraps. Barry there in Matt Brown with you in the studio this morning, and our show today has been about appointments and committing to our appointments. Let's recap on what we've spoken about so far. Okay, rule one. If you make an appointment, go about it the right way. And joining me now in the studio, good morning again to Matt Brown.
Good morning, Barry. Good morning. Yes, the good old appointments, Barry, and our etiquette and how we should behave, and to think of our fellow human being, and make sure that you're polite and on time, and yes, have all your personal records and everything that you need ready to make it a smooth transition for your appointment, so you can get out of there as well.
Okay, and another thing, if you go to the doctors, make sure you make the appointment and pick a suitable time and make sure that you've got your Medicare card, your medical visit form, and your medication authority form in case the doctor needs to put you on something. Here's Matt now for this.
That's right. Make sure you've got all your records, so that way the doctor can figure out what is best for your needs.
Okay, because if you're suffering from blockage, he may put you on some Movicol or some Metamucil or the Microlax. Here's Matt now.
Yes, so those are the suppositories. A lot of those, Barry, or they're taken orally.
So, can't say what they are.
Okay, you won't say what they are, but they can help. They can help with bowel movement. Is that correct?
Can't mention bowel movement.
Okay, no worries. So that most important thing is the doctor's there and they'll give you the right meds.
Okay. He may suggest a tablet to help you get things moving.
Okay.
Here's Matt now.
Okay, no, that's good, Barry. That's all I can say.
So, make sure your doctor's appointment is brief and to the point. Make sure that your discussion with the doctor brief and to the point too. Here's Matt now for this.
Yeah, so if you've got any questions, obviously have them prepared so when you can ask the doctor while you're there and you'll be able to get the answers as well.
And don't just go stomping, stomp if he's made some suggestions. If you don't agree with what your attending doctor is saying or what he's doing, please stay calm throughout the consultation. Here's Matt now for this.
That's right. Stay calm. If you don't like what you're hearing, you have the right to go and choose another doctor. So the choice is yours. But getting stompity stomp is not going to get the answers.
And he may have to refer you to a specialist as well. Here's Matt now.
That's right. So that means another appointment you need to look at booking if you're going to get another specialist appointment. So these things take time, and there's no point rushing them. You just have to be patient.
But don't go, hey, I want the appointment now. Here's Matt now for this.
Yep, as we know, Barry, that won't get you anywhere. That'll kick you out the door quicker than you can say, how's that?
Or quicker, or before you can say Jack Robinson.
That's it. You're done. So, yes, bring your manners. If you don't like what you hear, keep your mouth shut. Because getting in an argument with a doctor is not going to work.
And you will go zip. If you haven't got anything positive to say to the doctor, then zip, here's Matt now.
That's right. It's where you can make a choice. You can get another doctor.
And welcome back to the last part of our show this morning and committing to appointments. At the doctor's, you must be ready to discuss your concerns and tell him what is wrong and tell him or her why you are there. Don't just jibber jabber or tell absolute porcupines. Here's Matt now for this.
That's it. So when you're in front of your doctor, start again. So with the doctor, you need to be able to know what you're there for and ask the questions that you think are relevant that the doctor may be able to answer.
Okay. So before you go to the appointment, make sure you have everything like your medication authority form, okay, a blank one in case you need to put something on there, like something that helps your stomach, your feet, your back, your face, or anything. Here's my outsider.
That's right. Paperwork, guys. So just be prepared before you go. That's what Barry and I are harping on about. Is if you get prepared, you should make your appointment a lot smoother.
And don't just realize halfway up Warringah Road and think, oh beep, I forgot something. Don't do that. Here's my outsider.
That's right. So prepare yourself at least an hour before your appointment to give yourself enough time to go through your checklist and give yourself enough time to get to the appointment.
And don't just go, yeah, and then have someone go bang straight into you. Take your time getting to the appointment. Don't turn your mini bus into a racing bus. Here's Matt now.
That's it, and that's how road rage starts. So it's all about timing, guys. Give yourself enough time.
So don't be an absolute fool on the road when you ain't going to your appointment. And that's the end of episode 288. Now, quickly, before we go on to episode 289, how not to make the appointment. Don't just ring up and assume you've got an appointment booked when you have not. Here's Matt now.
Yes, make sure you ring up, confirm with the office and the person you're speaking to with either a confirmation text or a confirmation email to know that you're booked in for your appointment on that particular date and time.
So, and another rule, okay, if you are not able to make the appointment, give a valid reason why. Don't just say, oh, I'd rather stay at home and play computer games or just have a rest. Because the OT therapists are all waiting for you, including your doctors. Here's Matt now to close episode 288 with that. Coming up straight after that, we will talk about fish and chips.
Okay, so talking about what Barry said about appointments, why we believe it's so important is to make sure you've got your checklist ready. So all your paperwork, all the medication you might need to take with you. Give yourself enough time to get there, and remember to be cool, calm, and collective.
and have a good valid reason for being at the doctor's, guys. Don't just sit in the medical center and watch television, because that's not what you are there for. And don't harass the staff there either, because they are busy attending to other calls. And that's where we'd like to end episode 288. Now, here's episode 289. With you in a sec. Welcome to episode 289. Who loves fish and chips here? Now, fish and chips, you can either buy it or cook it from scratch. We had fish and chips last night. Now, make sure your fish is good and ready to go. Here's Matt now to open episode 289 with that.
Good old fish and chips. Before I talk about my fish and chips experience, how was your dinner last night?
Oh, fish and chips, man. Great.
Did you have any vinegar or sauce with it or anything else?
No, mate, just done it so.
Just a little bit of salt.
Yeah, and a bit of salad on the side.
Nice, Barry. Nice and healthy. Yeah, fish and chips is a good old favourite, Barry, when you're down at the seaside, as they say in England. But since we live in Australia, down by the beach, good old fish and chips, Barry. Is there anything in particular that you like about the fish and chips?
Oh, they're homemade, mate. You're not wasting your money, so if you don't feel like wasting your moolah, okay, you can cook your fish and chips, but make sure the fish is in date. Here's Matt now.
That's right, good old fish and chips, you know. The advantage to great fish and chips with how I cook them, Barry, is not, yes, the fish has got to be fresh from either, you know, preferably the fish shop, the fishmonger. That's the best place to get it, but otherwise the supermarket. And you pull it out, obviously do the nose test, Barry, to make sure it smells good. Because if it smells good, it's safe to eat.
And if it's not, what do we do? We bin it. Here's Matt now.
That's it, Barry. We definitely bin it, because if it doesn't smell good before you cook it, it's not going to do any better on the inside of it.
Because you know where you will end up, guys. And I'm not going to say it on the show.
That's it. Now, good fish and chips, Barry, you know, if you're buying them from the shop, the most important thing I like to do when the shop is to make sure that the oil's fresh, Barry, because I don't like greasy chips. No?
Because if the oil is all guys, you will know about it.
That's it.
Here's Matt now for this.
Yep, usually with the batter, if you're having a battered one, you want it nice and fluffy. You don't want it all soggy and heavy, because that means the oil has been soaking up the batter instead of making it nice and crisp. And also your chips are going to be all oily rather than actually taste like potato.
And then you will have to go, rum.
You're doing this. Woo, the Harold Holt. Off you go, go, go. It's a ticking time bomb, Barry.
So fish and chips, go and get some now from your local fish and chip shop. But if you're making it at home, make sure you've got good potatoes for making your chips, guys. Dry the potatoes if they're wet with a tea towel. Look up a recipe for homemade chips and fish. Here's Matt now.
Very good point, Barry. A lot of people, when they make their own fish and chips at home, especially the potatoes, they forget they need to dry them, because you don't want any moisture on that potato when you drop them in the fat. For number one, it'll burn you because it'll spit everywhere, and number two, it doesn't get a good seal on the chips. So that's an important point, Harry.
So if you're frying your chips, make sure you do it in 2 stages. One, make sure you fry them, but make sure you don't brown them first. There are 2 stages to frying your chips, guys.
That's exactly right, Barry.
Look up a recipe for that and how to fry your chips. Okay, and the same, if you are frying, make sure you've got a good deep fryer in your home. Here's Matt now.
That's it, and get the right oil, because if you don't have the right oil, you're going to have the smoke content
And then
burns.
and keep an eye on you when deep frying, guys. Keep an eye on what you're cooking, because if it burns,
Oh my goodness, the chips!
if you remember that,
Oh my goodness, the chips!
So have fun cooking your fish and chips, guys. Really, have fun, but be careful. But if you don't want to cook, take the family down to the beach when lockdown is over. Have an evening meal of fish and chips. Get a family pack. There is a seafood shop down in Dubai, I know, because I've been in there. So ask the staff, is the fish fresh? Is the fish fresh and in date? Is the oil good and the raw sweet? Here's Matt now.
That's exactly right, Barry. And the pro tip out there is, after you buy them, when they come in the bag, just rip the bag a little bit to let the steam out. So otherwise, your nice fish and your chips, to stop them from going all soggy. You want them still nice and crispy. So that's a little pro tip.
And make sure you've got ask how much it will cost the family, because they have family packs as well. So ask the store, is there a family pack so everybody can share? Here's Matt now.
That's right. Ask your fishmonger, your attendant. They'll be more than happy to guide you in the right direction.
So enjoy your fish and chips, guys. Well, it's time to draw episode 288 and 289 to a close. Coming up to 5 minutes to midday now. It's time for lunch now, and before we do go, just going over committing to our appointments. Make sure you've got everything packed, transport arranged, staff to drive the vehicle, and another thing, ask what time the appointment will finish. Here's Matt now to close the show with that.
That's right, guys. So just elaborate on that. Give yourself enough time, Barry. That was perfect. Everything you said was brilliant. Just make sure you've got enough time and bring your nice table manners to the appointment.
But if you haven't got anything positive to say, like we've said before, zip it. Here's Matt now.
That's it. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say it.
So we hope that you've enjoyed yesterday's show and today's show. And on Friday, when we meet again on episode 290 and 91, we're going to be talking about what to cook with mince. So that's another new topic we'll be bringing up, talking to you about on the show. So we do hope that you will join us then. But in the meantime, you have a lovely Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening, and we will see you on Friday morning, 9:30, for episode 299 and 91. And we're coming to the end of the lockdown, guys. So we do hope that you will join us for the last few weeks of our lockdown shows, and here's Matt to tell you we are nearing the end of our series here.
Yes, so after many episodes that Barry's been putting out to our viewers, yes, he's starting to draw it closer to the end because, like us and our viewers, we want this lockdown to finish sooner rather than later. So we'll be winding down. You'll still be able to see Barry live on air, so you don't have to worry about not being able to see Barry again. We'll be just moving the studios up there to Bray Park. And until then, there's still a few more shows down here from our Sydney branch. So we look forward to sending those to you.
And remember, don't be obnoxious at your appointment. Okay, listen to what people are saying and you'll be all sweet. Here's Matt now. Take us out and see you on Friday. Have an excellent rest of the day. It's coming up to 12 midday. Thanks for your company, and we will see you Friday morning, 9:30. So from us now, have a good rest of the day. Here's Matt now for his goodbye.
Goodbye, guys. We'll see you all on Friday. Thanks for watching.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.